The unpopular policies won't be allowed to continue unchecked. The president's initial response, I'm going to impose 10%, and he changed his mind just a few hours later, 15% tariffs. Those are tariffs that will run out in 150 days. The president simply doesn't have the power that he hoped he had.
These are the people teaching our kids. So when I saw this, I'm like, okay, I got to do a video on this, because now I want to explain to you guys what now? What now? The Supreme Court ruled down or against Trump's tariffs, or some of them. So today's video, I want to break it down for you. Is it as fantastic as a lot of people are saying on one side? Is it as detrimental as people are saying on the other side? Well, today I'm going to give you the truth. What's tariffs really going to do to the stock market? What's it going to do to the bond market? What's it going to do to these things over here? Because if you're watching this video, you're a homeowner, home buyer, you could be a realtor or loan officer trying to figure out what's going on with these things today. But here's the concern I have. You got professors like this, and I watch several of them, and they come out and they're like, oh, these are unpopular, and he's a king and he's a ruler, and he's no. Here's what he did. Let me kind of give you the shock and awe. You guys didn't realize this now. And I'm going to go over to the markets right now. The bond market, it's up pretty much. It's up 8 ticks today. That means mortgage rates are going to get better. That means the bond yields are getting a little bit better. You go to the stock market, yeah, it's down 243. They're going to say it's tariffs. It's not tariffs. Okay, so let's rewind this thing to go back to this professor and a lot of the other professors. What happened on Friday? What's it going to do to these things? Well, I'm going to tell you. So, folks, my name is Dan Frio. I'm a federally licensed mortgage loan officer. If you need some help with a mortgage, I'd love to help you. I'll give you my information at the end of this video. But today I want to talk about this stuff because it really pisses me off, because these are the people teaching our kids, and these are the people teaching everybody out there on mainstream media. So here's what's going on. Trump jumped in and he said, okay, we're going to put 100% tariffs on you and you and you and you. Hopefully you guys understand by now. Before he walks in a room, he throws in a hand grenade. Then it blows up and he walks in, okay, let's negotiate. So that's what he does. And do I agree with his tactics or not? That's not for me to say. The markets are going to adjust to this accordingly, but that's what he does. So he got people to the negotiation tables. He stopped wars. He got our tax bases in check. Now, you might be against him. You might be for him. Folks, I'm not a Trumper. I'm going to say I'm right in the middle. I'm not way to the right. I'm not way to the left. I'm probably just like you. Okay, so how's this going to affect the markets? Let's put some common sense to this. So let me explain what happened. Trump, that's what he was doing. He was going in and using all this for a technique to just use it for a ploy to get people to the negotiation tables, and it worked. Okay, so now you see professors like this saying, well, it's an unpopular thing and it's against the Constitution and he's a king and No, what he wanted to do is he's saying, hey, folks, there's no guardrails here. So I'm going to use that law to do this until you specify in the law what I can or can't do. He didn't think, I'm assuming he didn't think it would take 9 months for the Supreme Court to judge on this, because if you read the rulings on some of these things and the law that he was using, it clearly says he doesn't have the ability to do this. So now it's a little clearer saying, okay, now you can impose some taxes. But they're coming out saying, okay, now he can apply this one ruling and it's for 150 days and then he's out of luck. No. What he can do is he can let it lapse a day and do it again. And then do it again and do it again. And that's a 10 to 15% tariff. And these are some things that they're talking about. But what do you have right now in regards to tariffs? Tariffs on average about 16% when you go globally. This is curtailing it to 15%. So it's not really that dramatic when it comes to the markets. Now let's get over to the markets and see how they're reacting. Then I'm going to pick up on this in a second. So check out these videos. It's disgusting how it's him, Florida State. There's a whole bunch of them that came out and just they're bashing it, but they're painting a false narrative, and that's what really ticks me off. So you go over to here. Here's what the markets are doing. Okay, the bond market's doing okay. So if this was terribly bad news or terribly good news, these things would be cranking right now, but they're not. Okay, so let's get over the stock market. The stock market up or down? I'm not going to say 250 points down is dramatic because of tariffs. You would think 1,000? Now that's a big move. Remember when they implemented Independence Day or whatever they called it, Liberation Day? The stock market went up 1,000 points. So if you give back 240 from record highs, anyways, is that detrimental? But let's get over it. Here's really what the economy is going to look at. So tariffs, yeah, they're going to be implemented, and if you look back 6 months from now, you're going to say, okay, Dan told us again. The markets are going to adjust to this. Is it going to be a huge shock and all? No. The tariff rates are probably going to be across the board about the same. But what this did is it pretty much put some guardrails in. And I think what now they're trying to do is they're trying to legitimize some of these laws to say, what can I or what can't I do? Because we don't want one if you say he's a king, you don't want a king in power. But then if you go on the other side, you don't want the other side in power just just because they want to do it. So that's what I really want to explain to you guys today is President Trump, what he did, in my opinion, is he went out there and just said, okay, well, you need to make a ruling on this. So until you do so, I'm just going to threaten everybody with whatever I want until you really put the guardrails in. Maybe some people will start understanding that, but is this going to be a huge move in the markets? No. So here's my expectations of what's going to come about. But what we do have is we had a Fed official this morning come out, and it's not on this list because it's a little bit important. But Waller just came out this morning and said, okay, inflation, now we know with the tariffs in place, now we got basically some guardrails up. Now what we're going to watch is the employment numbers. If unemployment really starts to crank up, which it hasn't, but they're still saying it's a low hire, low fire environment. But where's the job market going to go from here? So I think inflation's going to be kind of stagnant because of this, and this might help on the inflation front because now it's at least putting, like I said, some guardrails on that. But this week, here's what we have. Consumer confidence coming in tomorrow. They're going to say it's going to pop. I might say with this tariff thing, because people don't understand it, it might take a pop. Okay, U.S. President speaks. There's the big the speech tomorrow. Are Democrats going to be there? I don't know. I'll be watching, but so we'll see how that goes. The only really big thing coming in this week is jobs with the initial jobless claims on Thursday. Then we're going to get continued jobless claims. We will get, I think, ADP payroll numbers in here somewhere, but we're going to skip right past those. And then we're going to get the PPI. What this is producer inflation. Now, again, folks, they're saying it's going to go from 0.5 to 0.3. Don't be surprised if this comes in at 0.5. Because I think the producer, like I said, and a lot of you guys, I said it was the January effect. Here's what I mean. I come out with this thing saying the January effect because I have a lot of friends in the manufacturing, I'll put it that way. And they're like, okay, we're going to start pushing our prices in 2026 because we can't do it in 2025. The economy's too fragile and there's just too much stuff going on. So they're going to push it in. So I call it the January effect. Yeah, I call it the January effect, but they're going to push prices in January. So it's going to tick up inflation over the few months. And then it's going to start coming down because of housing, oil. Well, we're going to check oil here in a second. So let's get over to the rest of the market, see how they're doing. Big piece of this puzzle is oil. Oil is 66. I don't like this. This might be another piece that's going to push up the inflation numbers. Okay, so here's how oil works. Oil is let's say it's another tax on us. Because if gas prices go up, just think how your stuff is made. It's made from things that use oil. I don't even care if it's a machine because the inside of it has oil to run its parts. So you have oil basically in everything. And then when you go to pick it up, you're using gas to get it, or unless you have an EV car. So oil is the energy factor in inflation. And that's 40% of the inflation number. So if you had oil at $60 a barrel, if you get $66 a barrel, that's a 10% increase. I mean, it's probably inflation numbers are going to go up. So I'm not quite sure how this PPI number is going to come in, but I'm going to say it might tick up just a little bit just because of oil. Now let's get over to the Federal Reserve, what they're going to do or what they look at. They look at these things right through here. So we have the PCE. PCE came in recently at 2.9. It's just below 3%. It's nowhere close to the 2% the Fed wants. Okay, so then you got the jobs market. The unemployment rate keeps coming down. The last three readings, we went from 4.6 to 4.4 to 4.3. So this is good. Now that has some uncertainties, but did the tariffs actually put a little more certainty on this, the ruling from the Supreme Court? Just something to think about. So if you're watching this video, what's your thoughts on some of these things? Do you think the professors are teaching us kids the right? Watch these videos if you don't believe me. Watch them. I'll try to put some down below. There's several of them. And they come out and they give us the context of, he's a king, he's a ruler, he's doing. Let's see how over, the next 4 years, how it goes. And then we'll come back and visit this, and then we'll vote. Was it good for us? Was it bad for us? How bad was it? But if you go back where we were last year at this time, Liberation Day, that's the thing I was talking about. Where have we been since then? The market said, this is going to be catastrophic. Well, we're at all-time highs in the markets. Mortgage rates are down almost 1% from where we started the year last year. And then most people's equity in their homes are up as well. So if you're feeling the pinch, most likely it's healthcare and a lot of those other costs because mortgage rates are coming down, housing prices are stagnant, but you have taxes and insurance really making housing unaffordable. But if you're a homeowner out there and you need some help, if you're out there looking maybe to refinance to see if maybe a lower rate would help you, check out our tools up through there. I created RateWatch 2.1. What I do is I want you to put your mortgage information in there. Let me know two things. What rate would you like to refinance? And I'll call you, text you. We'll go over the numbers. But how about if I put in there, how much money a month would you like to save? So let's say, Dan, if I can save $400 a month, I'm in. Well, you can put that in there as well. So put in your mortgage information up there, and when the rate hits there to refinance, I'll call you. If you need a refinance, let's say you're just drowning in debt, those 28% interest rate cards. If you have equity, reach out to us. We'd love to help. We even have a 5-day HELOC over there. If you really need some quick money, check it out. But if you want to refinance, do some debt consolidation, also check some of the calculators I have down below. If you're a home buyer or you're looking to build, where do I think rates are going to go from here? This tariff news isn't going to do anything, folks. This is basically going to tell us, maybe give us a little more guidelines on what the president can or can't do in regards to tariffs. More clarity might help these things out. But after I watched the Supreme Court rulings and I read through a lot of the things, yeah, I'm a geek like that. I'm like, I don't really know where the markets are going to go from this, because I'm a little more confused with this now more than ever. So where rates going to go from here, folks? I don't really know, but I don't really think they're going to go way up or way down. So my expectations for the next few months is rates are going to be between 5.875 and 6.25. We're right in the middle of that right now. I know it's a pretty big range, but at least if you're getting into a house right now or trying to buy, you don't have to worry about those jumping all the way up to maybe 7 or 8% like they did in 2021. But if you want to be safe, reach out to us. I'd love to help you. I'm licensed in all 50 states as well as Puerto Rico. My slogan, folks, is one application, one credit pool. I'm going to compare your loan to over 30 different lenders. How, why, where? Well, join me each day. You can understand that. And also each week live, I come in one of these days and show you exactly behind the scenes. And I'll try to post this week's video right up through there so you can join me. So folks, that's it for today. My name is Dan Frio. I'd love for you to subscribe over there if you want to learn more about real estate, the markets, bonds, stocks, cryptocurrencies, and everything. But let's take a final look at this. We have the tickers up right now. MBSs are up 3 ticks. You guys know what that means. Green is good, red is bad. So mortgage rates aren't really going to do much today. We go to the stock market. We have pre-markets. Dow Jones down 226, and the NASDAQ down 142. Oil's up, 10-year treasuries down to 406. So not a bad market, especially after Friday's ruling by the Supreme Court. But please check out these professors down there and let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear from you guys down below. So that's it for today, folks. I will be back tomorrow at the opening bell to let you know how this stuff goes for the day. I'll be posting some live events scheduled this week. So join me this week for any live events if you have any questions about these or home ownership. So thanks for watching, guys. God bless. Have a fantastic day. It's freezing here in Chicago again, snowing once again. So stay warm out there wherever you are, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.